What's going on YouTube? Welcome to another MLB The Show 23 video. In today's video, we'll be talking about Friday because there is a new roster update with upgrades and downgrades starting on Friday. So we're going to go over some of our investments and predictions for the next roster update. Now keep in mind, some might go up, some might go down. Not all my investments are going to happen. I'm just telling you guys that I'm invested in myself, or guys I might be looking at and I might want to invest in, but I might not because they might get upgraded in one category and might get downgraded in some categories. But for some reason, people think that they might go up because the price is high. So keep in mind when investing, don't put all your stubs into one player. Spread it out so you have a better chance to come out on top and profiting, and you're not going to be in the hole and losing stubs. It's always better to spread out, invest in 10 players versus investing in one player, and then they don't get upgraded, and then you lost all of your profit. If you guys do enjoy these videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn those post notifications on so you guys get notified every time I go live. So the first person that we are going to be taking a look at on today's list, in no specific order from best to worst, I'm just putting them in as I am thinking of them or as I have them up on the screen. And that's going to be Bobby Witt Jr. Now, when taking a look at roster updates, and this is for your guys' information, I get all of my information on fangraphs.com. So if you guys want to follow along, check the stats for yourself. You can do so on fangraphs.com. We'll be taking a look at Bobby Witt Jr. Now, with Bobby Witt Jr., we'll be looking at his contact versus righties is only 58, and his power versus righties is only 56. So that's where he has the most room for improvement. He also has 85 contact versus lefties and 90 power versus lefties. Now, when taking a look at this, we will take out Fangraphs and we will take a look at his splits. And right off the bat, what do we see? He's batting 400 against righties with 4 home runs, a triple, a double, and 14 singles. So in 20 hits, he has 6 extra base hits, which will help his power a little bit. If you take a look at advanced options, a lot of times you can get their power from their slugging or ISO. I always like to look at ISO for power. 300 ISO, 700 slugging, and an OPS of 1.13 and an OPS of 1.13. So 58 contact versus right, 56 power versus right, 85 contact versus left, 90 power versus left. Typically, he's going to get boosted versus righties. Now against lefties, how's he doing? Well, he's only batting 214 against lefties. This is where it becomes 214 against lefties, 2 doubles, 1 single, only 3 hits, but only 14 at bats. So a smaller sample size, right? Where versus righties, he has 50 at bats. So if he gets boosted versus righties, those numbers will go up a lot higher. And if he gets downgraded versus lefties, he won't get downgraded too much because it weighs differently because he has less at bats. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this and you are looking at investments. But that's one. He only needs a +1. If you guys see on Inside Edge right now, if we take a look at it, let me go back to the gameplay screen. If we take a look at Inside Edge, a +11 to his contact and a +11 to his power would boost him up. If you see in the top right below his overall of 84, that would boost him to an 87 overall if he got just those upgrades. So keep that in mind. Next up on the list is a guy that I've been invested in before, and I still got some pre-orders in on him, and those have not went through because he's still playing pretty good. But that's going to be Ha-Seong Kim. I probably butchered that name. Where's he going to improve the most at? Well, contact versus right is 61. Power versus right is 54. Contact versus left is 80. And power versus left is 68. So he can improve versus his contact and his power versus righty and power versus lefties. Even contact versus lefties could improve based on his stats. So what are his splits? Well, let's take a look. Against, I believe, what is it? Against righties, he is batting 395. Hopefully I'm right here. Yeah. He's batting 395 with 2 home runs, a double, and 15 hits. So in 15 hits, he only has 3 extra base hits. Not the greatest. It's manageable. So maybe he doesn't get a crazy power boost at all versus righties, but he does. He is batting 395. So does he get a really good contact boost? He very well could. Now, if you look at it like his ISO 184, OPS 1.11, so his ISO is not representing a lot of power versus righties. so he might not get that jump. Now, against lefties, he is batting .474 with 2 home runs and a double and 6 singles. So in 9 hits, he has 3 extra base hits against lefties. Small sample size, but if he does get a boost, it just might be a smaller boost. An ISO of 368, so obviously hitting for a little bit more power against lefties. So he definitely could get a boost against lefties. Now, he's an 81 overall. Does he go to 82, 83? Maybe not, but maybe he doesn't get an upgrade at all because they figure, he's got 38 at-bats, 50 plate appearances, so 10 walks. He's also walking a lot. So could his vision and discipline get boosted? It very well could. I mean, if you look at his vision and his discipline, 59 vision, 81 discipline, could any of those get boosted if he's not striking out a lot or if he's walking a lot? Very well. He's only got 5 strikeouts. That's not too bad at all. Definitely could get a boost there. Next up on our list that I have, now this I think was an iffy one the last time I looked at it, but based off the prices. Oh, speaking of that, let's check. I forgot the first one. Let's check his price. 1,200 stubs is what Kim is going for. So he's 600 stubs above quick sell. So he is on pace to get upgraded. At least that's what the community thinks, being at a 83 overall with quick sell for 1,200 stubs. So he is on pace, or at least the community thinks that he's going to get upgraded. So I would not pay 1,200 for him because that means he would need at least a +2 just to break even. I would probably try to do some pre-orders in on him, not really investments, definitely some pre-orders in on him. And it's the same for Bobby Witt. If we take a look at Bobby Witt, he is expected to go diamond. So he's not a guy I would do investments on. He's a guy I would do pre-orders on because his price is 2,900. So if you got him for 2,900 and he goes to an 85, you only make 100 stubs. Now, if he goes to an 87, then it's profitable. So if you give him at 2,900, thinking he goes to an 87, he could very well be profitable, but that's not a smart investment. That's a pretty hefty boost, a +3. I would not rely on a +3. But next, we're going to go Matt Olson. So after we talk about those prices, because I completely forgot. So Matt Olson, let's take a look at him right now. He is an 84 overall. Looking at a diamond price, 3,900, 3,000, already a diamond price. He's expected to go diamond, that's for sure. 3,000 would be an 85 overall, but let's take a look at his stats. 73 contact versus right, 45 contact versus left, 67 power versus left. Those are his room for improvement. Already got really good power against righties. So when we take a look at Matt Olson, we'll go on to the next tab. Versus righties, he's batting .283. Could that be better than a 73 contact? It could be. 7 home runs, 2 doubles. So 13 hits, 9 extra base hits. I think the power remains the same versus righties. Contact could get us a little bit of a boost. Against lefties, he's only got 8 at-bats, but 2 of them are home runs, 2 of them are singles. If he gets any boost, it's going to be a small one because he doesn't have enough sample size to get a significant boost versus lefty. We know his price, so there you have it. There is Matt Olson. Next on this list is going to be Ryan Mountcastle. Now with Ryan Mountcastle, his price is $415 or $333 sell now, so you can put orders in for him around $330. And if he goes up to an 80 overall, that quick sells for 400 stubs. Would I necessarily buy him at $333 to make 70 stubs? Probably not. A guy I would either keep long-term investment or hope that he goes to an 81 or do pre-orders in on him. Because 78s I think are 125. Anything over 125 you can do for him and just try to get him as low as you possibly can. And once he goes up, hopefully those orders will go through if you take some time. But his room for improvements is contact versus right, power versus right. Contact versus left and power versus left is probably not going to move. And if it does move, it's probably going to be a ground grade. So we're going to be taking a look versus lefties. He is batting .500. Or no, wrong character. Ryan Mountcastle versus lefties, batting .423 with 2 home runs and 5 doubles. ISO 217. He could get a downgrade, but I don't know. Probably not a big enough sample size. 23 at bats though could definitely be a decent sample size. 29 at bats against righties. .414, batting .414 against righties. Only 1 home run, but 3 doubles. His ISO is only 207, but he only has 53 power and he only has 45 contact. And he's batting over 400 against righties. And he's got good enough power to get a boost in power. I think 60s, even 70s in power would make sense with him against righties. And the contact could be the same, 60s, 70s. but do they boost him that much? Probably not. But do they boost him enough to get a +2? It could happen. I really like Ryan Mountcastle because his price isn't that bad. You can do pre-orders in on him. He can be more of a long-term investment, and you might pay out even more later. That's up to you guys when it comes to the roster update. Next up is a guy that people were mad about at me because I invested in him and he did not go up. And that's going to be Nathaniel Lowe. Now this card I still have, as you guys see, I still have 284 of him. So did I get mad that he didn't go up? Not really, because I kept him. By keeping him, now his price is around 283. You can get him for 283 stubs in the market right now. Not a bad price at all. He's actually cheaper than Ryan Mountcastle. And versus lefties, now if we see his attributes, he has a lot of room for improvement pretty much everywhere. Against lefties, he's batting 333 with 1 home run and 3 doubles. That's an ISO of 333. Only 18 at bat, so small sample size against lefties. But if he gets any boost, it's definitely going to help him out because those are his stats that need the most improvement. But against righties, batting 324, which I think is worth more than 80 contact. He's also got 2 home runs, a triple, a double, and 8 singles. So out of 12 at bats, 4 of those are extra base hits. And if you take a look at his ISO 243, take a look at his power 62, could get a slight upgrade to get him over to that 80 overall. And if you look at his inside edge, if you got a +12 to lefties for contact and power, he would get boosted to an 81 overall, which would quick sell for 600 stubs. So if he gets a crazy boost like that and you buy him for 280 stubs, all of a sudden he's worth 600 stubs. You literally double your stubs for every single one that you got. So if you got 500 of them, that's a lot of stubs that you guys just made. Or if you spent 150,000, you just got back 300,000. I really like that risk, and that's why I held on to him. I didn't get upgraded. Didn't bother me one a bit. If you guys wanted to check out those stats, those are his stats right there against righties, batting 324 with the 2 home runs, the triple, the double, and the 8 singles with the 12 hits. Now, next up is going to be Dansby Swanson. Now, this card, about 300 stubs above quick sell. These last 2 are very iffy because I think these are the 2 stats that would go down and then stats that would go up. And I think Dansby Swanson falls under that category. Versus lefties, he's got pretty good stats, but he's batting 222 against lefties with 2 home runs and 2 singles. So he only has 4 hits against lefties and 18 at-bats. Not the craziest. Against righties, he's batting 333 with 5 home runs, 3 doubles, so 12 hits, and 8 of them are extra base hits. So his ISO's of 500 against righties. So he can get a significant boost versus righties, but could get a downgrade versus lefties. It just depends on how much they weigh that downgrade versus the upgrade for him to get the +1 or +2. I wouldn't go out and buy him for 1,500. I'd probably do pre-orders in on him just because he might not go diamond. If you pay anything over 1,500 and he only gets a +1 to an 84, you are losing stubs. So that's not the route I would take, but definitely a guy I would do pre-orders on because I don't think he necessarily gets downgraded. I think he either stays an 83 or he gets upgraded, I think. That's what I think. But like I said, based on how many stubs, if you have millions of stubs, you guys can take a risk on him. If you only have like 100,000, 200,000, he's not a guy I would probably take a risk on. Like I said, those are his splits. 333 against righties with 5 home runs and 3 doubles. Really good though. 8 extra base hits out of 12 at bats is amazing. And last but not least on this one, player of the month. And if it's not the player of the month, I feel bad. However, I don't think he gets the diamond. I really don't. And that's going to be Cody Bellinger. Oh, I do think he gets player of the month. But since the last roster update, if we look at his splits, here we go. He is batting, well, he actually might. He's batting 385 against lefties with 1 home run and 2 doubles. So 10 hits, 3 of them extra base hits, 192 ISO against lefties. Don't really think any of those numbers move. Against righties, batting 386 with 3 home runs and 3 doubles, 17 hits total. And I will show you guys it. There you go. So 17 hits total with 3 doubles, 3 home runs, an ISO of 273. Versus righties, I think his power numbers could go up. Contact, 386. It could go basically where his contact versus lefty is at an 83. I could see contact going up to an 83, power going up to like a 75, 76. That's where I would see his boost. I don't think he gets downgraded in any of these, which makes him a little bit more unique there. I don't see him getting downgraded in contact versus lefties, really. Power versus lefties, maybe, but a 76, does that represent 192 ISO versus the league average? Probably does. So I don't really think he gets downgraded there either. So if he doesn't get downgraded versus lefties, I think his righty numbers could go up. He only has 2 strikeouts against righties. He has 3 strikeouts against lefties. So he's only got 5 strikeouts, and he's got 5 walks as well. So that's really not too bad if you really think about it. 44 at bats and 26 at bats against lefties. So maybe his vision or discipline might get boosted too. It is very possible that both of those could get boosted. Being a 74 vision, 60 discipline, doesn't strike out that much, only has 5 strikeouts, but only has 5 walks. Just depends on what they, I mean, discipline I would think would be strikeouts, doesn't strike out, and vision I would think would be walks. And vision could actually have to do with strikeouts too. I forgot what they said, which one does which, but both of those, something that to also look at, because they do upgrade vision, they do upgrade discipline. Clutch is always a weird factor. I don't know how they measure clutch too much. I imagine like maybe hits with 2 strikes could count, stuff like that, if you guys dive deeper into the stats. But I want to get in that much depth because I really don't know exactly how they're going to measure that clutch fact. So I really don't want to mess with the clutch too much. We're focusing more on the contact, the power, and a little bit of the vision and discipline. But those are my updates. Now, obviously, will there be more? Yes, there's going to be way more out there. That's what you guys are for. You guys can leave them in the comments down below. I didn't do any pictures in this one. I might make a separate video with pictures like Wednesday or Thursday. If you guys have any pictures in mind, leave those in the comments down below, and I will get to those when I can. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button and comment down below what some of your investments are, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn post notifications on so you guys get notified when every video goes live, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.